Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rianni. I'm a licensed esthetician and future nutritionist. This video is all about retinoids. I really wanted to break down today's video all the types of retinoids out there, not just tretinoin, and just help explain and answer a lot of your guys' questions. And sorry, hopefully today's video's lighting's gonna be okay. So what are retinoids? It's the umbrella term for all vitamin A derivatives and all the compounds that demonstrate structural and functional similarities to vitamin A that are able to interact with retinoid receptors. The first topical vitamin A was approved by the FDA for acne therapy back in 1971. But since then, retinoids have continued to evolve into what we have today. We have so many different options to choose from. So what do retinoids do for the skin and how do they even work? They increase the skin's turnover rate. Depending on how old you are, the older you are, the longer that process is going to be. But typically for most people around the ages of like 20, 30s, maybe even 40s, that turnover rate is about roughly every 28 days. And once you're on a, let's say, tretinoin, it speeds it up to every 14 to 21 days instead. They are absolutely hands down gold standard when it comes to dermatology. They help solve so many different skin concerns and skin issues out there. What differentiates all the different retinoids is basically the conversion rate. There is retinol esters, and then you have your retinol, your retinaldehyde, and then your retinoic acid. Retinoic acid is the most readily available for our skin to accept. Let's break it down further. So retinol esters, things that fall under this category are retinol palmitate, retinol propionate. This is considered like the lowest strength because of how many conversions it goes through. It goes through the most conversions, which is 3. So they're a good option for being, the most gentle on the skin. So if you're somebody that has like extremely reactive and sensitive skin, this might be a good option. Unfortunately, retinol esters aren't the most effective when it comes to age therapy, age management. If you're looking to really improve like fine lines and wrinkles, sun damage, all that kind of stuff, this is probably not the option I would recommend for you. It hasn't been proven to show really any sort of effect. Next up is retinol. So retinol takes just only 2 conversions and it's still a good option, and again, not as irritating as say retinoic acid. It's also a great way if you're a little bit nervous to start retinoids, if you're nervous about that purge. It's a great way to introduce your skin to vitamin A's in general. So the next one is retinaldehyde, which is my favorite option if you can find it. It only takes 1 conversion to convert into the skin. Very powerful, but still also very gentle at the same time. So if you can find retinaldehyde, that's the best option. Unfortunately, it is extremely expensive to formulate with, so it is a hard ingredient to find. But if you do find one and you like the formulation and it works with your skin, that's the one I would definitely recommend. So now for the retinoic acid. So to break it down further, there's actually 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, and there's even a 4th generation. I'm not aware if there's a 5th generation. Maybe they're in the works. I'm not sure. As far as I know, there are 4 generations, but we're going to be just talking mainly about the first 3. For 1st generation retinoids, this includes tretinoin, isotretinoin, and olitretinoin. I believe that's how you say it. Retinol actually falls into this category as well under the 1st generation retinoids. 2nd generation retinoids, this includes, oh my goodness, okay. You guys already know how I am with saying words, so I'm just going to throw it up on the screen. I'm not going to attempt to say them because I can't. Those are the 2nd generation retinoids. And for the 3rd generation retinoids, that includes Adapalene, Tazarotene, and Bexarotene. Let's talk about Adapalene because I feel like that's something that can be a little bit of an unsung hero when it comes to retinoids. So Adapalene is chemically stable, photostable, and it's a synthetic retinoid, which is approved by the FDA to be used for acne therapy. In contrast to other retinoids, it's actually got a better anti-inflammatory effect on the skin, and it's actually a lot more gentle than tretinoin. So if you've been trying tretinoin and you find it's just not working out for you, and you've tried everything you can to try to acclimate to it, but it's just not working, I highly recommend Adapalene. I feel like a common misconception is that Adapalene is more stronger than tretinoin or tretinoin stronger than Adapalene. It's just a matter of how it reacts to the skin. I wouldn't say one is necessarily stronger than the other, just so you know. And just a side note, when it comes to retinoic acid, they are the most proven, they're the most powerful of all the retinoids, but they also have the most side effects. So tretinoin, yay! Tretinoin is a synthetic 1st generation retinoid. It's approved by the FDA for acne and photoaging. Dermatologists have commonly used this off-label, which means not for its intended use, to treat other skin concerns. So other skin concerns or disorders include pigmentation, pituitary disorders, wound healing, actinic keratosis, etc. Isotretinoin, commonly known as Accutane, but I believe they're changing the name, so I don't think it's going to be called Accutane anymore, but that's what it was commonly known as. It acts pretty comparable to the effects of tretinoin, but has a slightly more anti-inflammatory effect. But mind you, this is also one of the most severe options you can go for that has a lot of side effects. Strong disclaimer, most dermatologists come at this as like a last approach, which as it should. It has a lot of great things that it can offer and do for the skin, but bear that in mind, it has a lot of side effects. Isotretinoin also exerts the strongest sebum suppressing effects in the skin. Really helps to slow, even inhibit total sebum production, which is pretty crazy. It's actually the only thing proven to actually shrink pores. I know a lot of people in my comment section like to come for me and say there's nothing that can shrink your pores. Accutane / isotretinoin is the only thing proven to actually physically shrink those pores. Again, I really don't want to sit here and say a lot of good things about isotretinoin, even though there is, like I said, good things about it. It just comes with such a heavy bag of side effects. So I just really want to emphasize that. So just to touch on the side effects, it can cause birth defects, miscarriage, stillbirth, dry skin, severely chapped lips, nosebleeds, dry eyes, dry mouth. It can also be quite hard on the gut and internal health as well, as I mentioned. So Tazarotene, third generation retinoid, and it's approved by the FDA for acne vulgaris, not in Europe though, and also psoriasis. And additionally, a recent study demonstrated that Tazarotene 0.1% cream appeared to be more effective and nearly as well tolerated as Adapalene 0.3 gel in reducing lesion count and acne severity, and was more effective than Adapalene 0.3% gel in reducing post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. If you guys have any questions at all, I've mentioned in my previous update video that I am offering one-on-one consultations now. If you're trying to figure out a skincare routine that would best be suited to you and your skin goals while using tretinoin or any other prescription or non-prescription retinoid, if you're unsure of what retinoid is a right fit for you, definitely check out in the description box down below. And I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.